So when deadlifting, your setup is crucial. It's very important to get very tight before you pull. So allow me to demonstrate. Hold on, I need chalk. What's up everybody? So I just posted a video about why your deadlift might be slow off the floor. And in that video I talked a lot about your starting position, your setup. And a couple people contacted me, and this is not the first time this happened, but a few people contacted me and said, hey Alan, I really enjoyed the video, but your exaggerations or your demonstrations of how not to do things are a little exaggerated. They're a little over the top. And I've got that on some of my other videos where people say, your demonstration of how not to do things is a little exaggerated. It's not, doesn't translate well into real life. So the reason I do that is to prove a point, right? I'm not gonna put two deadlifts side by side with a very subtle difference and expect you to catch it. So I really exaggerate things to prove a point. It's the same reason I don't tell you to train untamed. I tell you to train untamed. So anyways, but someone contacted me and made a really great suggestion. He said, hey Alan, I really enjoyed your video about shoulder positioning in the deadlift, having it too far forward or too far behind the barbell. But again, it's a little exaggerated. I suggest you make a video where you actually deadlift 315 the incorrect way so that we can see what it looks in real life. It's a great idea, so that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you how not to deadlift or how not to set up, and I'm going to pull 315 just so you guys can get an eye for it and say, oh, you know what, that looks just like my deadlift. You know, that's the problem I'm having. So anyways, in that video I said that when you're setting up for the deadlift, you have to set the barbell over the middle of your foot and you have to put your shoulder blades directly over the barbell. Regardless of your arm length, torso length, femur length, leg length, putting the barbell over the center of your foot and your shoulder blades or your shoulder joint directly over the barbell will put you in the correct position. Your hips will be where they should be and your shin angle will be where it should be. So getting that position, again, barbell over the center of your foot, shoulder joint over the bar, will allow you to pull the barbell vertically in a straight line, which is the most efficient way to get from point A to point B. So in that video I said that one positioning error that a lot of people have is putting their shoulder blades too far in front of the bar. So what happens is when you set the barbell, when you set your shoulder blades too far in front of the bar, so going on the side here, Rachel, if you set your shoulder blades too far in front of the bar, what happens is you're starting the pull off balance. You are leaning forward. So when you pull, you're going to be leaning forward throughout the entire pull. Okay? This is obvious to me when someone either starts with their shoulders way too far forward, the bar will want to swing out to under your shoulder joint where it naturally wants to hang. You'll see maybe your heels are twitching because they're coming off the ground, you're leaning forward, or you'll just feel it. You'll feel yourself driving through the balls of your feet rather than evenly dispersing that weight throughout your entire foot. So what happens is whenever someone starts out with their balance too far forward like this, shoulder blades too far over the bar, either the bar is going to swing, or more commonly what I see is people finishing with soft hips. So the balance is forward like this. So what happens is they'll finish by locking out their knees and they'll have soft hips. Their glutes are not squeezed, their glutes are not activated into the bar, right? So what's happening again is you stand up, your butt is back and your chest is up. What I want you to do is bring your ribcage down so your spine is in a neutral position and squeeze your glutes together and get your hips forward into the bar. You have to make love to the bar, right? It's all in the hips.
Work with me. It's all in the hips. Yeah.
So when you're off balance and you're leaning forward like this, what happens is you lock your legs out, your butt is still sticking back because that's where you want to be balanced. If you were in this position and you push your hips forward, right, you're going to want to fall forward. So bringing the bar over the center of your foot, shoulder blades over the bar, is going to allow you to pull in an even straight line, right over the center of your foot, and finish with strong hips, knees locked out, right? So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you finish the pull with soft hips. So again, I'm going to finish knees locked out and back, hips soft, okay? So this is what it looks like. Shoulder blades too far in front of the bar, Right? So you are sticking your chest out, sticking your butt out. Bring your rib cage down so your spine's neutral. Get your hips forward into the bar. Okay, so next, whenever someone starts with their shoulder blades too far out in front of the bar, they will, if they want to bring the bar back into their body, so they're not finishing out here, they do what is called hitching. So, as they're pulling, right, their knees are, the angle of their knees is opening up, their knees are locking out, so to bring the barbell back to their body, they push their knees forward, like this, and then they use their quads to stand up, right? So that's called hitching. Not only is it illegal in powerlifting, but you're also completely taking out the posterior chain, the hamstrings out of the movement. So when I'm deadlifting here, my hamstrings are stretched. When I push my knee forward, I'm shortening the hamstring and I'm taking the tension or the load off the hamstrings, right? And I'm not using my glutes to finish. You're using your quads to finish. So you're here, right? You push your knees forward, and then with your quads, you stand up. So again, your glutes need to be engaged in the deadlift. Doing this and standing up is not engaging your glutes. The deadlift develops the glutes, strong deadlift. It's a circle of life. So you have to keep the tension on your hamstrings throughout the entire pull. Do not shove your knees forward and then stand up like this. I'm going to show you what it looks like in a minute here. So I'm going to do 2 reps. I'll show you right now actually. So this is deadlifting with your shoulder blades too far in front of the bar, right? And then bringing the bar back to your body by pushing your knees forward and hitching or standing up with your knees, with your quads. Now with that, another common problem I see with hitching is people's tendency to want to shrug the bar up, right? So they're here, shove their knees forward, stand up with their quads, and they pull the barbell up. They shrug the weight up, right? And I'll show you what that looks like. The reason this is wrong is because your shoulder positioning, if you have 300 pounds in your hands, your shoulder positioning wants to be here. You don't want to hold 300 pounds here. You don't want to hold 300 pounds here. It's here. So as I stand up with my upper back neutral, I want to bring my fingers down to the ground. You'll feel your lats tighten. That's where I want to hold 300 pounds, not up here. So again, let me show you what it looks like. You can come a little bit closer here. So I'm going to do a hitch with a shrug. This is something else I commonly see. Don't hitch, don't shrug. Next, so that is having your shoulder blades too far in front of the bar, all right? Having your shoulder blades too far behind the bar, I'm gonna talk about that for a minute. So, in that video, if you haven't already seen it, go watch it, about being slow off the floor. I talk about shoulder blades too far behind the bar. And what that does is, as you sit your butt down, your shoulder blades come behind the bar, you sit your butt down, your knees go forward. And now you're forced to pull the barbell out and around your knees. Again, you want to pull the barbell vertically in a straight line, not out and around your knees. Weight gets heavier the further it is away from your body. So, that demonstration that I showed in that video is a little exaggerated. The reason being, the only time I see someone squatting down really low and pulling the barbell out and around their legs is if they're a complete beginner. So their first time in untamed strength, their first time deadlifting, they have a tendency to want to sit down too low and push their knees forward and squat the weight up. They're using very light weight, so the bar goes out and around, right? If you can deadlift 315 pounds, if this is your 1 rep max, you are not going to pull the barbell out and around your knees, because that would mean you could hold 315 out in front of you like this, like a front raise. You can't do that. So what happens instead is you start with your butt too low, and then your hips shoot up right as you pull, and it throws your hips up quicker than the bar is moving. So there's 2 angles you want to consider when deadlifting: the angle of your knee and the angle of your hips. If I'm here in position and the angle of my knee opens up faster than the angle of my hips, right? If they're not opening up and locking out simultaneously, you're doing it wrong, right? So my knee angle opens up, then my hip angle, okay? So you don't want to do that. And that's usually caused by someone sitting down too low. Now, with that, it can be done. If you watch great deadlifters like Benedict Magnuson, Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, Misha Kalaev, they all sit down very low into a deep squatting position. They sit their hips very low, and then they pull, they deadlift the weight. So what happens in that, in slow motion, if you watch them, what they do is, you can get from the side, Rachel. So what they do is, they're here, right? They pull their body down, shoulder blades behind the bar, and then as they stand up in slow motion, their hips go up without the barbell moving. Once they're in position, then they pull, right? So their hips are down, shoulder blades are back, their hips come up. Once their shoulder blades are in position, boom, they pull the barbell up.
It's gonna drive with the legs. It's coming up.
The reason they do that is, one, they use their 400-pound frames to pull on that barbell as they stand up. But mainly, the reason they do that is because a body in motion is easier to put in motion, if that makes sense. A barbell in motion is easier to put in motion. Another reason why you might roll it here and in and then go, right? It's easier to move when it's already moving. Similar to your body. So that's a big reason why they do that. So I will say that you can do that. You can start with your shoulder blades behind the bar and your butt very low, but you have to pull the barbell as soon as you get into the correct position. That takes a lot of timing, that takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of coordination. So if you're just starting out deadlifting and you're a beginner, you don't need to worry about any dynamic start like that. You need to get in a good position, hold that position, and stand up. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you how not to sit your butt down too low. So again, what I see a lot of people do is they sit their butt down too low, right? Their butt shoots up and it continues shooting up in absence of the barbell. Then the barbell comes up. So their butt is shooting way up, their shoulder blades are coming over the bar, and now you're in that situation, the first situation I was talking about, with the shoulder blades too far in front of the bar. So I'm going to show you that. This is how you do not want to do the deadlift with your butt down really low. Let's see if I can do this. I never have practiced this, so hopefully I don't throw my back out. Okay. So if you see, my hips are shooting up and my shoulder blades are coming way in front of the bar as I pull. So my timing is off. I'm going to show you how to do it correctly, the way the big dogs do it that I mentioned earlier. So sit down, as you're standing up, as soon as you get into position where your shoulder blades are over the bar, boom, you time it and you pull. So let's give that a try. So, in a sense, you can sit your butt down low and start with that dynamic start. But I wouldn't suggest if you're a beginner. So, very simple solution to all this. To ensure you're putting the barbell over the center of your foot and you're putting your shoulder blades, your shoulder joint directly over the bar, putting yourself in a position to pull vertically in a straight line. So, what I do is, I leave the barbell where it's at. Don't touch the barbell. I step up to the barbell and I step into a position that places the barbell about over the center of my foot, right over mid-foot, over my entire foot, not just the part that I can see here, okay? And once you're in position, right, so the barbell is directly over my mid-foot, without worrying about anything else, just bend over and place your hands on the bar where your arms naturally want to hang, right? So all I do is bend over, I set my hands on the bar here, and then what I'm going to do is, Rachel, you can kind of get from the side here, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to obviously tighten my back, stick my butt out, squeeze my chest forward, right? And I'm going to sit my butt down until my shins touch the bar without moving the barbell, okay? And again, I talked about this in that video that I'm referring to. Pull up on the bar as you're sitting your hips down. That's going to ensure you're into a tight position. So what I'm going to do is, again, place my hands on the bar without moving the barbell. I'm going to pull slack out of the bar as I sit my hips down. And once my shins touch the bar, I'm in position to pull, okay? So it looks like this. Not touching the bar, it's over my midfoot. Place my hands on the bar, right? Now I'm gonna tight lats, stick my butt out. Without rolling the barbell around, I'm gonna pull up on the bar, sit my hips down. Once my shins touch, and that's how you do it correctly. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something, I hope you enjoyed, and always remember,
Dread on time!